Okay. Sorry, my device wasn't connecting.
This one follows the proper rules.
Do I have a motion to return to open session? Second. I have a motion and a second. Ms. Woods, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Bond?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Ms. Cass?
Yes.
Ms. Parton?
Yes.
Mr. Chewbacca?
Yes.
7 in favor.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to certify closed session that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed session were heard, discussed, or considered.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Ms. Woods, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Bond?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Ms. Cass?
Yes.
Ms. Parton?
Yes.
Mr. Chewbacca?
Yes.
7 in favor.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to terminate the contract for RFP 22-05?
Moved. Second.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, Ms. Woods, please call the roll.
Ms. Bond?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Ms. Cass?
Yes.
Ms. Parton?
Yes.
Mr. Chewbacca?
Yes.
7 in favor.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion regarding the student matter from our closed session?
I thought we were doing it, but okay. I move that we expel the student we spoke of at our
Student A.
closed session.
Student A.
Student A.
Second.
Motions. I have a
Second.
motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, Ms. Woods, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Bond?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Ms. Cass?
Yes.
Ms. Parton?
Yes.
Mr. Chewbacca?
Yes.
7 in favor.
Motion carries. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. As we begin tonight's meeting, I ask those in the audience to please silence your cell phones. Cell phone notifications can be distracting to others in the audience and to the board as we conduct our meeting. Thank you. All right, we're going to have our student representative, Mercurius Yasa from Christiansburg High School, read our mission, vision, and core value statement.
Mission. MCPS is an innovative educational community. We value diversity and we are committed to equity and inclusion. MCPS empowers learners to realize success in an ever-changing global society through collaboration with communities, families, staff, and students. MCPS provides a safe, engaging learning environment and intentional exposure to positive social, emotional, and academic experiences. Beliefs. All students can learn in order to pursue their dreams. Schools are safe places of joy, wonder, and creativity. Every person deserves to be loved, valued, and respected. Kindness is an essential skill of a responsible, productive community member. The diversity of our community is one of our greatest strengths. All people deserve the equitable access to opportunities and resources. Every child deserves an advocate. Honoring the voices of students and other stakeholders strengthens the school community. Open communication and feedback are vital to our growth. Learning and teaching are collective efforts that begin at birth and involve the entire community. Relationship building and high expectations are foundational to student success.
Thank you, Mr. Yassa. All right, our next agenda item is public address. We welcome the opportunity to hear from students, parents, employees, and community members about education matters in this community. As a reminder, the board sets aside 30 minutes to start our public address. We have the option to extend in 30-minute increments, which Ms. Woods will remind us of. If there are additional speakers after 90 minutes, the board will continue with their business meeting and hold one additional 30-minute session at the end of the business meeting. The clock continues through applause and disruptions. The more disruptions there are, the fewer speakers who get to address the board. I'll call each speaker up by name in the order they signed up. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. The board does not respond to speakers during public address, and the screen will show when the speaker has 30 seconds remaining and when time is up. Please state your name and the area of the county you live in. The first speakers are David Seabaugh and Bob Barbati. Sorry. Barbati.
It only
Is
took me a
David?
year to get that right,
I
don't
know.
worry.
Is David here? Mr. Seabaugh here? I guess not. Bob, you're up.
Bob Barbetti, Reiner. I am the messenger for school board members, administrators, teachers, parents. To those who have ears to hear, let them hear this. Children are a blessing from God. To treat them otherwise is to invite the wrath of God. We are admonished to lovingly instill truth and virtue in them through education and discipline. This was originally the sole responsibility of parents and the extended family. Now it also includes the people in the education system. What was done for centuries, imperfect as it was, has been turned upside down. God, the creator and sustainer, is no longer needed. Man is the center of the universe. The Bible, the source of understanding our creator, is out. Sinful man will find his own way. Virtue is out. Values are in. Terms chosen and defined by individuals. Truth is no longer absolute. Each man's truth is relative to his beliefs and situation. Right and wrong are often reversed as defined by the bully or other power structure. Learning is less important than self-esteem. Equal opportunity for all, a lofty goal for sure, is replaced with equity. Everyone gets the same outcome regardless of ability or effort. That is a simple characteristic of Marxism or socialism. Tolerance is redefined so that free speech applies to all of us, unless you disagree with me. Then you're either labeled a racist or censored. United we stand. Learning to become one unified people, a melting pot, is no longer important. Diversity is the goal, but diversity exists only where we see each other as different, separate, not belonging, divided. Divided we fall. If anyone causes one of these little ones to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Matthew 18:6. I submit we have all caused the children to stumble. A time of judgment is coming, sooner than we would like. The time to repent and turn from this evil path is now. To those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rovetti. Next speaker is Bob Beard.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Bob Beard. I live here in Christiansburg. I want to thank this board for allowing us the opportunity to speak. You know, I know it's budget season, and we just, you know, I talk about quite often is how much money we spend on Christiansburg High School. We spend 30 to 65 million more than what Salem did on their high school. And what I'm trying to say is money doesn't grow on trees. And here we are now asking for another $6 million for this upcoming year, $5 million in pay raises. That means someone who makes $250,000 a year is going to get a $12,500 pay raise. Someone who makes $150,000 a year is going to get a $7,500 pay raise. Someone makes $100,000 is going to get a $5,000 pay raise. Someone makes $50,000 is only going to get $2,500. So again, someone makes $50,000 a year gets $2,500. Someone makes $150,000 gets $7,500. I'm just not sure about how we're doing all this. And previously, we had discussions where the ESSERs were supposed to be temporary employees, and you guys even agreed to it. And now, so something's changed. Now we want to add 4 more staff. So we're going to go from temporary ESSER staff to full-time. So another increase in our costs. We're by the harm that we did to our kids, making the elementary kids wear masks. Now we have to have counselors to elementary kids. When you're in elementary school, you shouldn't need a counselor. That's nothing. Should be nothing but fun. And because of stupid masks, you guys, implemented, the kids are damaged. It's just a travesty. Let's see here. And this is the 8th straight year for pay raises, okay? So what has happened to our education, our SOL scores during those 8 years? They've declined consistently year after year after year, but we're going to get more and more money year after year and year, increase those budgets. So guys, quit spending money. When the Board of Supervisors gives you money, it's our tax money. It doesn't grow on trees. It's our tax money and needs to be treasured and not just friggin' spent like it grows on trees. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Beard. I see no one else signed up on public address, so public address is closed. Next on the agenda is consent items. If no one wishes to move an item out of consent, we will consider these items approved. All right. Payment of the bills. Do I have a motion to approve the payment of the bills as presented?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Woods, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Bond?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Ms. Cass?
Yes.
Ms. Parton?
Yes.
Mr. Trabaka?
Yes.
7 in favor.
Motion carries. All right, next item is our business meeting. As we enter into our business meeting, I want to just make a statement for the public that for us it's this week. I think officially to the VSBA it was last week, is Board Clerk Appreciation Week. And I do want to speak and say something on behalf of the board to express our appreciation for all that our board clerks do. I know that, yes, I know that it is their jobs and that they get paid for it, but it's a job that has unique demands and characteristics. The board clerk works directly for us, one of only 3 positions in the district that reports directly to the board. At the same time, clerks have to work closely with the superintendent and staff, so you kind of get pulled in a couple different directions. It's also a very public-facing role, so you're working with staff, you're working with the public. It requires non-standard and extra hours. Most people aren't working at 7:30 p.m., and I know a lot of our staff does that too. It requires a lot of attention to detail. It requires a vast knowledge of the district operations, and then the minutia and mundane rules of Roberts and other little things. And then on top of that, the board clerks take care of a lot of other extra things that are in and out of their job descriptions. And I think all of these things together can really make the job hard and thankless, but we hope that it also makes the job one that everybody knows is important and that is satisfying to you guys too. So you do your job with professionalism, integrity, and always add in a splash of fun. So we really appreciate both of you and all that you do in public and behind the scenes. You keep our board running smoothly. It's not an exaggeration to say that we could not do it without you, so we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And as a small token of appreciation to you, we left you a couple cards in front of you, and we can hope that you guys use those to brighten your week. All right? Thank you, guys.
I would just like to add that last year, I could not have survived last year without Brenda and Morgan and their unwavering support through a lot of issues, especially as we did our superintendent search. They were irreplaceable, and they've provided just an enormous amount of support. And I thank them very, very much for everything that they've done for me. And I actually have something special for you, but it's out in my car. I was afraid to bring it in the building.
All right. Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is a report from the superintendent. So, Dr. Bragan, please take it away.
Thank you, Board Chair Chewbacca. It's hard to follow that, but I'll do my best. February 15th was School Resource Officer Recognition Day in Virginia. Our SROs are valuable members of our school community, as we recognized that a few weeks ago when we recognized one of our SROs who, due to his heroic efforts, saved one of our students' lives. And they remain committed to the safety and wellness of our students and our staff, and we're grateful to have them in our buildings on a regular basis. I want to take this time to personally thank our board members for their service to the students and staff of Montgomery County. February is School Board Appreciation Month, and each of you works tirelessly to represent your communities in addition to our staff and students. Thank you for your service to the Montgomery County Public Schools. Ms. Drake provided each of you a link in an email for some MCPS branded apparel as a slight token of our appreciation. I see many of you are wearing that tonight as well. I want to second our Board Chair Chewbacca's comments about our board clerks. You know, as I was applying for this job, I couldn't have contact with anyone as I went through the process except for, you know, Morgan and Brenda, and they did a great job in not only highlighting the district, but treating me as a professional and making sure all my needs were met. And then since starting this position, they often act as a liaison between myself and the board and have been invaluable in helping me get acclimated. So I echo what Board Chair Chewbacca said, and I'm grateful for all the things that you've done for me on my behalf. So thank you. Lastly, I've had conversations with each of you about discussions with the MCEA leadership, specifically Glenn Chilcote, regarding a proposed collective bargaining agreement. Mr. Chilcote and I worked on a rough draft of a CBA that only permits the scope to cover working conditions and safety. I'm not sure if this is the appropriate time to discuss this, or it should perhaps be added to an agenda item in the future, but I just wanted to mention it at this time in my report. And finally, for me, I want to congratulate Mr. Carl Pauly, who, after a long tenure in the Montgomery County Public Schools, has chosen to retire at the end of the month. I didn't get to know him that well, but in the short time I've been here, it's been a pleasure, Carl, and I'm sure you will be missed by a great many people. So thank you. Thank you, Board Chair.
So,
That's it.
okay, all right. One thing you did bring up, I did see see the draft, I think, that you had sent of the agreement, and I think there was some small changes. I don't know if you're prepared to do it now. Maybe we could even hit it at unfinished business, but I would just like going into, into this, it would be good maybe to have some of the major points maybe highlighted and give us a chance to just maybe speak about that and figure out, where we want to go moving forward. So that's my
About what?
2 cents. What's that?
About what?
Oh, sorry, about the collective, he said the collective bargaining agreement. So he sent us something in the mail, but I don't think that it was something that, I had a couple questions about it. I guess I had gone through and looked at a couple things and just
So
wanted
what is our path forward then? What is it you're trying to, what are we supposed to say this evening? Just,
I think you can say whatever you want, but,
Well,
hi, Penny.
excuse me, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I don't think that it's fair to ask the board to spend time talking about this evening when we weren't aware that it was going to be on the agenda. I think this should be added to another agenda.
Well, I think that's what Dr.
That's-
Bragan was
yeah.
saying, that,
But that's not what Mark is saying.
Well, no,
Mark
what-
is saying we can take it up under old business.
what I'm saying is I would like some clarification And I'm assuming that maybe the entire board would also like to hear said clarification on how this, the latest thing that Dr. Bragan is working on, how it differs from the last draft that we saw before.
So do we need to do that this evening in
I don't
old
think
business, or can
we have to or we don't. I'm not asking necessarily for anybody to make a statement or for there to
Right.
be that type of discussion on it. But what I would like the opportunity to have Dr. Bragan clarify or point out where some of those differences are so that we can then choose how we want to move forward.
So maybe we should put it on the agenda for the next meeting to discuss?
Right. If we're gonna have that, it should be an agenda item, or it should have been an agenda item for this meeting.
I thought we had to vote for anything to go onto the agenda.
Right, the majority of the board.
The majority of the board has to agree that they want to see it on the agenda.
So you don't want clarification now, you want to wait 2 more weeks to get your clarification? Or am I the only one that
Hey, this
is?
has been-
What do you mean by clarify? I
This
guess
has been
maybe
kicked
the,
down the road for over a year, to make sure that all board members understand that it's going to be on the agenda so that we can be prepared to talk about it, have a discussion. I think it's the right thing to do.
So again, is it the will of the board for me to ask my clarifying questions tonight, or do you think that that needs to happen at a different time at a different agenda item? Okay, I'll bring it up in new business then. Okay. The next item is strategic plan update for equity. And I see Guyleen coming up, so take it away.
Nope. Not here. There you go.
Good evening, Board and Dr. Bragan. It is a pleasure for me to come and...
I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
No, I'm not hearing anything.
Hang on, Penny, we're getting her a mic that works.
How about this one?
I got you now.
Well, as I was saying, I will start all over again. Good evening, Board, Chair Tabaka, and Dr. Bragan. It is a pleasure for me to come before you and share with you the strategic plan with equity. Oh, clicker. All right, thank you. Here we have the strategic plan update process. The first action step that I'd like for us to look at is providing professional developing opportunities for all school staff on a cultural awareness, proficiency, and sensitivity. You can see our action step. Teachers and administrators will demonstrate professional standards and ethics by engaging in continuous professional development around cultural awareness and competence as a part of Standard 6 indicator. We began this summer at the administrative retreat. We did the trainer model, and then the principals took the information back, the PD, and presented it to their staffs on August the 12th. Every school presented at the same time. It was written in the PD plan. What we've also done is had some choice PD. The 4 modules, self-reflection, learning environment, and pedagogy and practice, have all taken place. In April, we do our last one, which is community engagement.
Guyleen, can I? Sorry, is it all right to interrupt and ask questions
Sure,
along the
go
way, or do you
ahead.
want them at the end? It's up to you.
No, it doesn't make any difference. Go
So
ahead.
going
Do you want
back
me to go back?
Yeah, going back to the choice PD. So what's does that mean that our staff had to choose from one of those, or is it, you're saying every month they have the option of either attending or not
Every
attending?
month during our PD,
Yeah,
they could choose to come to that activity.
okay.
To that PD.
What's the hit rate been on the choice PD on this stuff?
Well,
you keep
actually,
track?
it has been rather low, and the reason being is there's so many mandatory PDs that folks weren't able to come to the choice PDs. However, we did tell principals, even though we did this as choice PD, if anybody wants us to come to their school and do it again, then we are very willing to do that. Any more questions?
Yeah. So I thought that this type of PD was not supposed to be choice, that it was now mandatory.
That's what I thought too, Penny. I thought there was more, maybe not every single one of these, but I thought there was more of a mandatory.
The cultural competence, the overall cultural competence was mandatory
That
from the VDOE.
Okay.
And that's the one we did with the train the trainer, so everyone got that. The 4 modules that we talked about were choice PD. All right, the next one, providing professional learning opportunities to all staff on a culture, awareness, proficiency, and sensitivity, looking at implicit bias, deficit thinking, and poverty disciplining. Once again, that is in progress. As you can see up above, we started in August. We did custodial staff in May. We did new teachers in August. We did our administrative assistants, bookkeepers, registrars in August, bus drivers in August, and we are waiting to get a date from TNG for the cafeterias.
So is this
Yes.
mandatory or is this optional? Okay.
This is mandatory.
And how often will this be done?
It's done yearly.
Okay, thank you.
And the last one that I'm highlighting tonight is provide professional learning opportunities to all school staff on cultural awareness, proficiency, sensitivity, looking at providing professional learning opportunities, once again, to all county employees that impact school culture, to include effective classroom systems, social emotional learning, trauma responsiveness. And you can see here, FBA and BIP training to all counselors took place in fall 2022. Effective classroom systems, January 22 and November 22. Choice PD, once again, youth mental health first aid. That is an ongoing, and it is offered throughout the year. Adult mental health first aid. The first opportunity was in February, and I know that there are some other opportunities that people can take place with that, and understanding trauma and how it impacts our interactions with each other. So these are really ongoing for the mental health part. And we worked with Jason Gerritsen and his staff with this part. Are there any questions?
So with the attention and well-deserved attention around mental health, why would that be choice? don't understand that.
I cannot answer that question, so I am going to look to Dr. Wickham to answer that question.
I guess before you answer that question, just so that I understand what I'm looking at here, this slide here, is this all dealing with mental health, or is it just the Choice PD at the bottom that deals with mental health?
It is the Choice PD that's mental health.
So the effective classroom system, social and emotional learning, trauma responsiveness, that's not specific to mental health?
No, but it's all under that umbrella.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms. Wickham. Dr. Wickham.
So when we go back and look at our strategic plan, we divided it out into years of implementation. So next year, while we've been doing some of this work this year related to mental health, next year is our big focus moving forward on mental health. So you'll see more work around mental health next year.
And before I take my seat, there's one more thing. Discipline is under equity also, and we will do a report on that later.
Okay. So when we go to action steps, provide professional learning opportunities to all county employees that impact school culture. That's everybody. So everybody is getting, I know the classroom doesn't apply to our bus drivers, but they have a concentrated time with students. So they are a part of, and we've heard from so many bus drivers, and our cafeteria workers, and our custodians, our aides, everyone. So it's everybody getting this opportunity because they are a part of what impacts our students and the culture of our buildings and our system.
I do know that for teachers, that this is an opportunity. I do not know about bus drivers. However, I do know next year when we move into the next year of our strategic plan, we will be looking at all of our staff members.
Okay. And I'll just say to Mr. Chewbacca's question around all of this being under mental health, if you are a student or a staff member or a teacher who is dealing with any of these issues around equity and inclusion and how you are perceived and treated within our system, it is all about mental health. All of this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. All right,
Can I just make a comment?
go ahead.
I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. Jamie's looking like me, uh-oh. Well, I was just thinking about, so we were talking here about equity, diversity, and we just heard some comments from Public Forum regarding the same kind of issue, except from a different direction that maybe I didn't quite follow what Mr. Barbetti was saying, but he was talking about the world's a melting pot, and we should be contributing that instead of focusing on these kinds of issues. And I guess what I didn't understand is how we can have a world that's a melting pot and not focus on these kind of issues, that it's not just the schools shouldn't be trying to parent people, that that it's up to a parent to do those things, but I think it is our responsibility to make sure that children are all treated fairly and that we provide a safe environment for our children, and we can't do that if we don't focus on these kinds of issues. So, I just was a little, I feel like today in our world today, people get very confused as to what we're talking about when we talk about diversity and we talk about equity and what that really means to our students and to our community. And I think what it means is that everybody is given an opportunity and everybody's given a chance, and that we should appreciate everyone's differences, and that doesn't require a parent's, we're not trying to tread on anybody's rights. I think that's just, at least in my mind, that's how we should be treating everybody. That's how the world should go around. But so anyway, I just felt like I needed to say that because I felt very, and I just hear so many things these days about how schools are trying to do, we're trying to convert and indoctrinate our children. And I don't know, if indoctrinating children to be kind and caring and compassionate is what we're doing, good. Then that's so be it. So, my words of wisdom for the evening. I'll get off my soapbox.
Well,
I'm going to piggyback on that, even though I agree with you. I didn't take that away from that, and maybe it was just how we understood it. I took, in that respect, the comments were, and I might be wrong, it's just my opinion and how I took it, was that we say this, as long as you agree with me, it's okay, but if you don't agree with me, that's not, and to me, that's how I took that. Yeah. Not that it shouldn't be, but we've become a society to where all is well as long as you think like me.
And I think that goes in both directions, though. I think that...
Right, but I'm just saying, I think it was more directed toward a comment like that, in the sense of not just the fact of not, but the fact of, it was kind of more of is a metaphor, is that what I'm trying to say? Maybe that, you might be able to explain it a little better, but I took it differently than how maybe you heard that.
I agree with Ms. Bond. I don't think there was any malice meant in the public address that was spoken. I think everyone here knows that we try to do the best for our kids, and we want them to be safe and treated fairly, and I think that's what everyone wants. Are we going to always agree on everything and every aspect of how that's done? Probably not. Just the fact that, again, it's okay to disagree, instead of disagreeing always being, well, if you don't all agree, then whoever's not agreeing is not right. So I think, with that being said, without getting into a long, drawn-out thing that was not on the agenda, that, we need to just value the opinions of others. And even though we might not agree with them, that doesn't give us permission to do what we just sat in closed session and talked about. That gives us an opinion to have our own opinion and to be respectful of everyone else's opinion and not say, well, you're right or you're wrong.
And I don't disagree with that at all. And I think that's important, though. But I think that's kind of what diversity and equity and inclusion is about: respecting everyone's opinion.
But understanding that's what it's about.
Right.
And sometimes we fall short of that.
Yes.
We being...
All of us.
yeah.
So I think Penny wanted to interject here. Go ahead, Penny.
So this is not just about respecting everyone's opinion. This is about making sure that everyone is valued, and that their life experiences, whether it be from race, sexual orientation, social economic situation, whatever, is not being demeaned or swept under the rug because it's going to make somebody else more comfortable. You can't just keep walking around saying, well, I agree, yeah, you have the right to say that. But if we're not doing something that is causing harm, especially to our children, and they don't feel safe in our buildings, and they're not getting the education that we say we are trying to provide, because they don't feel like they're a part of our community as a school system, then we have to be addressing that. And we can't just say, well, we're just going to agree to disagree and let it go. and then we still have children who are not feeling comfortable in our school system
Ms. Franklin, I
and
agree.
being valued in our school system.
Yes, Ms. Franklin, I totally agree. All of our students need to feel valued, but I believe the board as a whole has voted on policies for our students that mirror that. I think we have policies that show that we don't discriminate. We have a transgender policy. We have everything in place that we need for all of our students to feel valued, and we've done that as a board.
Well, I'll just say to that is we can have all the policies in the world, but if we are not putting things into practice to help back up the policy, and this is exactly what our strategic plan says around equity, and if we're not monitoring that that is happening, then it's just a policy, it's just a piece of paper.
I have to say I called the question. Is that what I have to say? I'm looking at my card.
We're not voting on anything. I do think.
Point
that
of
this
order.
is- I mean, it may feel like we're getting maybe a little bit off topic, but I don't think we are, and I agree with Penny
I don't think
that.
we are either.
Yeah, I agree with Penny, and I think, and I agree with Dana too, and I think, to your credit, I mean, I think you're right, that we do all that stuff, but there's nuances here that, I mean, the whole reason, and Guyleen can correct me if she wants to, or can tell me if you give me more historical context on this committee, but the reason that all of this came together, and the reason that one of our key aspects, in equity is talking about this PD, is because even if you think, even when I think I'm doing the right thing or I'm thinking the right thing, I may have biases. I may do things that I don't even realize that I'm doing. And I'm not talking just about racial biases. I'm talking about all sorts of other things. And we see that pop up in the world. I see it in the professional setting, and we see it in education settings all the time. And that does detract and goes against our stated mission, anyway, of trying to do what's best for all kids and to have that equity. So this is certainly an effort that is I think rooted in the right things, but I think Ms. Franklin is right too, that the execution matters. Mm-hmm. And I'll go further and say that, I mean, one thing that came up when we talked about this at one point in the past, that, I mean, execution matters really in both ways, right? I mean, you want to have effective cultural competency and professional development, things like that, but and I do want people, I want some of this not to necessarily be choice, but there is also something to do with, that we've been told by our staff and professionals that you can overdo something too, and so how do you roll this stuff out so that it is effective? How do you roll it out so that people do participate? And I think, it seems, where did oh yeah, there she is. No, you don't have to come up. It seems that we're trying to strike a balance between, some of the PD that we want to require and some of the PD that we make as choice for that reason, because, you don't want to force everybody. And first of all, there's probably a limited amount of time that people can do the PD, but so as we go through this, I do think that's kind of the balancing act that we're trying to do. Would that be accurate? Yes. So, anyway.
I didn't mean to.
Well, I was going to say, I'd just like to make a comment that the first comments Sue and I were talking about had to do with perception of a public comment.
Mm-hmm.
The comments went a different direction
gone in a
on
little
what
different.
she and I were discussing. So I just wanted to clarify that
enough.
it was in our perception on a public address comment. That's where my comment was led to, and then it went somewhere else.
Fair enough. All right, moving on to the next item. This is the Unified PE, which is a new course proposal. And it looks like Mr. Pauly and Dr. Walker. What's that?
The retiree.
Oh,
Retired. Is this your last
this your
appearance in front of the board here, Carl?
Yeah.
wow, we have to be extra nice.
Got it, I think. Okay. Actually, Dr. Walker and I will present this together. I'll do the first couple of slides just to point out that it's a little unusual for us to be proposing a new course this late in the process. Normally, the timeline for that is much earlier, but there has been a group working to make this proposal to us, and they were not aware of the timeline. And when they brought it to Dr. Walker brought me in, and we worked with them together and saw a lot of potential in this course, and so we're bringing it to you outside the normal time frame, and we can discuss a little bit about how that would fit into the scheduling and staffing time frame later. But you see there's a rationale for the course there that we had a lot of discussion about whether or not this should be an elective course, or could it actually replace one of the normal HPE courses like HPEA 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. Where we landed as a group on was it was best in this pilot year particularly to offer it as an elective course and see how that would work. You'll see these are the standard questions on the new course proposal form that we ask, and not just the rationale, we ask the question to what course pathways or career clusters does this course map to? And you'll see as Dr. Walker makes that part of the presentation, we have a very active Teachers for Tomorrow or Teacher Cadet program where we're trying to home grow our own teachers. And this would fit nicely into that. We feel like it would home grow some special education teachers, which is an area that we have a great need in. And then some of the other standard questions are, does it replace an existing course? No. What the staffing needs are, can existing course cover it? The answer is no. We would intend to cover it in its first year with existing staff paying a supplemental contract for one additional period at each school where the course makes. We still have standards for how many students need to register for a course for it to make. So if the course meets those standards and we're able to have it make at whichever of the four or all four schools, it is common to pay a supplemental contract amount to an existing staff member to cover those extra courses. And then some other questions there about the estimated cost. If it made it all four schools, it would be about $25,000. And we feel like we would be able to do that. So again, the proposed timeline is to pilot it for 23-24, continue to support the program the following school year, and beyond that, I suppose my successor would work with Dr. Walker and work to see if we can make it actually just a designated section of regular PE courses and begin to incorporate it into those. But it is our intention to initially offer it as an elective at each of the four high schools. Dr. Walker?
So as Mr. Paul has stated, what is Unified Physical Education? Unified PE is, again, it's a fully inclusive program that consists of half general education students and half students with a disability. So it's a pairing opportunity and a pathway for continued inclusiveness for our school division. It's taught by a certified PE teacher, and again, it's for that elective credit as well. As you can see, the various activities that the students will participate in would be, learning about specific skills, leadership skills, also sports rules, increasing physical fitnesses, and also health and lifestyle choices. And again, it's improving the overall emotional and mental wellness of students as well. So what better way for us to learn more about this is to see what students actually say about it. So there's a video here for you guys.
Unified PE makes you feel like you're part of a group, that you're part of a family or friends.
Everyone's my friends, everybody.
Unified gives everybody the opportunity that everybody is exposed to in the gen ed classes.
Welcome to Inclusion Weekly, a show about Special Olympics Unified Champion Schools. Students are working with Special Olympics to push for equal rights and opportunity for students with intellectual disabilities. Today, we're working at Unified Physical Education. Unified Physical Education is not your average PE class. Students with and without intellectual disabilities participate together in physical activities that promote leadership skills, emotional learning, and empowerment. So, Gian, what is it like in Unified PE so far this year?
So I feel like unified PE really brings everyone together. I love hanging out with the guys, so I want to hang out with you more. I want to be around you all day.
Oh, Donzo, don't be
Really good people that I wouldn't meet if I didn't take this class.
Bryce, what's your favorite moments in unified PE?
Knocking you out in basketball, because you're like good at basketball.
No, I'm better.
No, I'm better.
Carry on.
I pair with Allison Stern. She's cool and friendly.
What do we always argue about?
The Chicago Bears and the New England Patriots.
That's what I like.
The Patriots? Not a good team.
Oh.
Let's find out what happens in unified PE class. What we do is like we go to the dance room. Sometimes we have like a little workout. Everybody with your partner. What we're gonna do right now? Jog in place. Show me jog in place. Everybody, show me jog in place.
Unified PE here ultimately is not meant to feel that different. We have just naturally provided space for students to be themselves and to participate to the best of their ability, regardless of whether or not they have a disability.
Students that are in this class genuinely want to be in this class. It gives them a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose.
As you can see, unified PE is a lot more interesting than the average PE class. The students of all abilities are in it together.
Unified PE definitely helped me. It hurts to feel excluded from things. So like it's really special to me where I feel included. It just teaches so many life skills. The more you can interact with as many people as you can, the more like you'll become a more inclusive person.
If you think unified PE would be a good addition to your school, talk to your teacher and administrators and see if it can be added next year. Also visit generationunified.org and check back as we post more episodes of Inclusion Weekly.
So as you can see, what powerful information, and so what natural way to learn about social skills for students, all students. It's a pathway, again, for help building self-esteem, for all of our students within the school division, especially for our students with disabilities. So as we move forward, here are the benefits. You heard a lot of it in the video. The benefits for working with this program, again, increasing social emotional learning, again, the acceptance, the friendships, the pairings that you just learned about, the social inclusion, again, the leadership skills. We talked about the array of students that would be drawn towards such an elective course like this will be those teachers that are looking to go into the field of special education, nursing, social work, engineering, doctors. I mean, the sky's the limit. Because all these professions work with various students, and all professions may encounter working with student disabilities as they move forward. So you saw what took place in the video of an actual day. So we gave you a little more detailed information of what would a day look like. So they would come into the gym, they would partner up, they would discuss the day, and they could take some time to just social, interact with each other, like what they call a walk and talk. Again, they will go into, the quality of socialization, the greetings. The teacher will again introduce what we're going to do for the day. Again, they'll go into some activities, exercises. As they warm up, again, teacher-led and teacher stretching, planned activity. And then at the end of the activity period, which is where the magic happens, comes the walk and talk, the cool down. And this is where they're talking about what they've done for the day. How did it impact them? What did they learn from it? And so again, so it's a benefit for both general education and special education students as they work through this process. Students who have instructional assistants, the role of the IA will be a little bit different. This is, through this process, we want students to gain independence. So the aides will be with them for a while they're in the course, and then the aides will kind of back off of them, and we will want the pairing of the gen ed and special education student to take place. And then they're still monitoring that situation, and then after that, they'll escort the students back to the classroom. So why unified PE? So we'll let actually the staff and students tell you a little bit about this program.
I'm Molly Meeks, and I am the sales teacher here at the high school. We are out here doing Unified PE, and that is where it is half of our friends with disabilities and half of typical age peers, and they work together during the PE class. We implemented it here, and it's been a huge success, and it's been amazing for our friends to work on their social skills and to work on their community skills. So we were doing disc golf. It was super fun, right, Sid? Yeah. Yeah. She was super good at it.
I got 7 points. I was good at it. She got 9.
I think that it's just such a cool experience. I think it's really shaped my vision. Everyone's people, and you can connect with all different sorts of people no matter what. It's pretty cool.
So some of my kids were unable to come to Unified PE at first, just because it was overstimulating. They're now participating. They're experiencing feelings, but knowing how to cope with them. Their peers know how to help them with their big feelings. And now they have this safety and this good rapport with their peer, where instead of not coming to class because they're afraid, now they're coming because they feel safe.
What she is also now, and she is the partner, and she is great teammate, and she is the best.
You're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she is funny, and she is beautiful.
I know everyone in this class so well now, through like a really good personal level. Like every time any of our friends walks in, they just come, give us a high five or hug. Just the relationships being in person are just so amazing. Just meeting the kids and seeing the reactions and having fun.
Hello.
I just feel like a whole part of my life changed. Like I didn't really realize like how like moving that this class would make me feel about these students. Just like hanging out with them, you hang out with Sid all the time. It's so fun and just like finding joy in the little moments. These peers took the time to really understand our friends and what they need, their ability, and how they can best support them. And to see that, that's all I could ever dream of. I'm Molly Meeks, and I am
Here are additional resources, again, that can, how you can use Unified PE to, build unified sports, hold school engagement, leadership skills, et cetera. The overall goal for our school division is for Montgomery County Schools to be the first school division in Southwest Virginia to be a full school division unified champion, unified PE division. And so we want to be the first in Southwest Virginia. So we hope that, we know that this class will have the interest of students and parents. And so, and that's the overall goal. So we do appreciate the support from our superintendent and the others, and also within the group that brought this to us. We appreciate that as well. So we feel that we can make this happen. This ends our presentation. Any questions for you guys?
Any questions? I don't
Well,
know how you, oops. You have a question, Penny, or just a comment?
Well, yeah, I disconnected myself, so
Oh.
someone may have spoken to this already. But for me, this course, reading this, brought back a lot of memories of seeing children who weren't able to fully participate in a regular PE class, but they were there, and seeing the frustration for students who may not be as physically able as other students or as athletic, and getting F's and D's in PE. And sometimes people don't understand how do you do that in PE? Well, if you're not able to participate at a level that's going to get you higher grades, but that's just where you're at, I really welcome this, and I hope that it is successful and that we can truly see in this area of what we do to educate children, we will be able to help make sure all students are feeling included. I'm just grateful for this being brought forward.
I agree. I think this is an amazing program. I can't believe we didn't think about it before. But I think back on my own children, especially my younger daughter, would have loved participating in this. So I can't imagine how we could say no.
I guess I do have one question out of the program as well. Certainly it seems like it would be more successful with a healthy mix of students, right? So what are our strategies for recruiting, encouraging folks to join?
Yes, so this time of year, what we have done, and we did this before with when African American Studies came out, I've already prepared the flyer in anticipation of your approval. We would send a flyer out to every high school student, actually grades 8 through 11 currently, and encourage them to sign up for this course. They're really far along right now in selecting their courses for next year, but the flyer gives directions for what to do if you want to add this course as an elective in lieu of something else. And we have pretty good success. It's actually almost better advertisement to be a little bit late, if you will, because we have this extra flyer. And in future years, it will live in the program of studies, and it will have its attention drawn to it through the counselor's registration process. But we feel like this really gets it going with the added aspect of having out flyers.
I think you're going to get a great response. I think you're going to have more people wanting to participate than you will have.
Room for, probably.
Yeah, I honestly, just knowing the environment and having watched our students who really, this is inclusion at its best. And so, and a lot of our students, they've grown up in this inclusive environment. This is not something that's new to them at all, and I can see a lot of students wanting to participate from both sides.
Thank you. I don't know if it's appropriate to ask, but it's my last board meeting, so why
You can
does it
ask
matter?
anything you want, Carl. Well,
Right,
within
so
reason.
I don't know if it's appropriate to ask if we can waive a second reading and just approve it now? It is a presentation.
It's presentations. It's the first time you've heard it.
Well,
I'm looking at our parliamentary.
It's not a policy, right?
It's not really a policy.
In addition to the program of studies, which does require action by the board, you can do whatever you want. You
I
always
move
can
that
do
we
it.
adopt this course.
I think Penny just.
Go ahead, Penny, say it.
I move that we adopt this course.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion on the table and a second. Any further discussion? I'll vote for it. I generally tend to be a parliamentarian, but I will make an exception in this case since Carl
thank
is
you.
retiring.
Dr. Walker didn't know I was going to ask that.
I did. Thank you so much, Carl.
I just thought of it.
Carl needs a win before he retires.
Carl's got lots of wins. Yeah. Any other discussion?
I think this will be a win for many of our students.
Yep.
We can get the flyers out like tomorrow then.
Actually, he already handed them out. He just didn't tell us.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
Have we voted?
Ms. Woods, can you please call the roll?
First, Ms. Bond?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. Graham? Yes. Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Ms. Cass?
Yes.
Ms. Parton?
So let me say real quick a comment, because I didn't get to comment before the vote, but I just wanted to say that this, I was smiling from ear to ear when I was watching this. Tears were coming to my eyes. It brought back memories, and I have a child in high school now that tells me how students are with these students already and how much they care about them and the love they show them. This would be such a win for all students that I'm so excited about it. And my only regret is that my child doesn't get to participate in it because she's going to be graduating. But yes, yes, yes.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Mr. Trabaka?
I'm a yes.
7 in favor.
Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of the bylaws for the GAC. Proposed changes to the bylaws of the Gifted Advisory Committee were provided at our last meeting for review, and the revised bylaws are provided tonight for approval. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Ms. Woods, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Bond?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Ms. Cass?
Yes.
Ms. Parton?
Yes.
Mr. Chewbacca?
Yes.
7 in favor.
Motion carries. Next item is unfinished business. Any matters of unfinished business, board? All right, next, any items of new business? Well, if no one else wants to bring it up, I will bring up
I was waiting.
item of collective bargaining. I think now that we have a resolution that has been worked on and that we need to begin discussions about this. So I'd like to see that on the next agenda item.
Are you asking to add it to the agenda for the next meeting? Are you asking for a vote? We can't vote on.
No, this isn't a vote. I'm
Okay.
just bringing it up as something that we need to add to the agenda for the next meeting.
And we have to have a majority. We have to have a
Yeah.
majority vote. Right.
Well, we,
Okay.
No
Yeah.
vote,
Yeah,
just a
just-
majority agreement.
Right, well, that, yeah.
Yeah.
am I the only one that wants to talk about this the next meeting?
No, I think we should. I agree.
Okay.
I don't, I
Then would-
think we
you're
should
not
have
in your
it.
head?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so we've got,
We've done a lot of work on this. I
Yeah.
think to just not do anything more would be,
At least bring it up and vote on it, right?
Yeah.
So-
what do you guys, are you guys okay with it? No? You don't want to answer?
My,
we're not talking about it, we're talking about the
Got it.
agenda.
Do we have at least
Putting it on
4
the agenda.
yeses?
We have 4 yeses
Okay,
already.
then that's it. Then we
So-
don't have to have any more conversation.
Yep. All right. And then announcements and information. Any items of announcement?
I have an announcement. Although I think a lot of people, some people know this already, I am not running for the school board this fall, so this will be my last year on the school board. And thank you for a very memorable 4 years, everyone.
especially your last.
Especially my last, yeah. It's had its ups and its downs. I hope that there are more ups than downs going forward for everyone, but at this time, as many of you know, my parents are very elderly, and my dad actually today had heart surgery, so, or a heart procedure. He's actually fine. They said for a 93-year-old, he is atypical, but I think that's because he's from New Jersey, Bernie. So, yeah, he had a heart procedure this morning, and they're sending him home today. So, but anyway, I do have to travel up to New Jersey on a pretty regular basis now, and that and my job my job responsibilities have increased at work, which is a good thing, but also it's taken up a lot more of my time. So, therefore, I will not be running. So if anybody lives in District F and is interested in being on the school board and would like to chat with me about it, I'd be happy to talk with you. Shoot me an email. Don't run them off? Oh, okay. And I'll tell you all kinds of lies. No, it's been I'm thankful for the time to be able to serve the community and continue to support staff and students, and it's been a learning experience for me too. I've learned a lot about myself, and hopefully I've learned I'll take away some important learning experiences.
All right, thanks.
Chair Chewbacca, I have an announcement. So I have to give a big shout out to my girls, Lady Mustangs. The varsity girls basketball team, even though they fell in their conference game to Perry McClure, in double overtime, I might add. It was only, I think it was 51 to 55. Those girls played hard, and they did a phenomenal job. I am so proud of them. They're winners in my book. Tonight they're playing in their region game, so I can't watch it because I'm here, but I don't know how they're doing, but I hope they can bring home a win. But I have to tell them congratulations publicly and how proud I am of them. They are just phenomenal. So
Awesome.
just wanted to say congratulations to the Eastmont Ladies Mustang Girls Varsity Basketball team.
And I'd just like to touch base. I think quite a few of us got to go to the open house at CPS the other night or last week. Wow. I mean, it doesn't even look like the same, well, it's not the same school, but I mean, it's amazing just how different it is. I'm so glad that that finally came through and is a reality. And today I got to go see CES since I didn't get to go last week due to another situation I had to go to. But wow, it's great too. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, and I hoped that I'll have the same feeling, and I know I will when we go see Bellevue in a couple days. So, but I just driving by, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so hard to believe. And then Christiansburg High School, of course, in the near future. But
I'm gonna make
And
a note.
I'll just echo Jamie about CES and CPS. In CES, where you used to get tired and kind of turned around because you didn't know what string of papers was what classroom and which aisle to go down because were you walking into the middle of the class, you got tired because the building has so much room and so many new classrooms and so many new things like a library, a new gym at CES that you got worn out just seeing everything that was new. And my hat's off to everyone who had something to do with that, including our Board of Supervisors who worked with us to be able to find the funds, to be able to create those wonderful learning spaces for our children and our staff and their families. And unfortunately, I'm going to miss Bellevue, but I am sure it will be the same experience. My face hurt for days for just smiling so much.
All right. If that's it for announcements, you can see the agenda prep for the upcoming school board meetings. I think it's just the normal ones for the next month or two. And our next agenda item is to go back into closed session. Do I have a motion to enter into closed session as authorized by Section 2.2-3711 of the Code of Virginia to discuss one personnel matter and one student matter?
So moved.
So moved, second.
All right. Ms. Woods, would you please call the roll?
On delay.
Ms. Bond?
yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson? Yes. Ms. Cass?
Yes.
Ms. Parton?
Yes.
Mr. Chewbacca?
Yes.
7 in favor.
Motion carries. We are now in closed session. You guys want to take a
Yes.
23.
Man, you're going to break.
Jinx, we're not out yet.